crime. A Louisiana man is charged with delinquency of a juvenile, aggravated kidnapping as well. Sheriff's Department booked this man, Alexander Materne. Nearby St. Charles Parish authorities say that he met a 14-year-old Tennessee girl on a video gaming platform. After that, they say he drove to Tennessee to pick up the child. Police say he engaged in sexual acts with her at his home. Then they say before he went across the state to see his family for Christmas, he took the girl to the woods and dropped her off with a tent and some food and water. Police officer located him at his family's home in Louisiana. And the good news is the girl was found safe in the tent in the woods. She was taken to the hospital to have an evaluation done. And right now he's facing some felony charges. But we noticed one of the charges missing is rape. Now, we know police say that sexual activity occurred, but there isn't a rape charge at this juncture. So the question we're asking our power panel, do you think he's going to be eventually charged with rape? Let's bring in Claudia King, Bob Bianchi, and Manuel Gomez to talk about this. Bob, you're a former prosecutor. I want to start with you, please. So tell me, do you think a rape charge is coming for this guy? And any ideas why we may not have one right now?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, typically speaking, in a rape case, there's a whole bunch of forensic data that's going to be taken, both electronic data to seeing what led up to this, what grooming or what kind of talk, whether it was sexual or not, was occurring. The other thing is that she was eventually recovered. There's going to be a sexual assault nurse examiner that's probably going to do a forensic examination. So they may have been laying back. Now, I don't know the laws of the state, but typically speaking, there is an age of consent. And this is a very important thing. I would imagine 14 would be under the age of consent. For example, in New Jersey, the age of consent is 16. And it doesn't make a difference whether or not the person posed to be older than that, whether you believe the person to be older than that. It's what they call a strict liability offense, which means the mere fact that the person is under the age to consent to sexual activity. Now, they may say, I want the sexual activity. They may have welcomed the sexual activity, but legally you can't consent if you're under the age of consent. And that is a no-brainer for a prosecutor for a rape charge that's going to put somebody in jail for a long time. The only question I have, and I didn't research before I came on, is what is the age of consent in that state?
Yeah, and great explainer, Bob. Right, we know she was 14 at the time, and apparently from the information police have gathered so far, they're saying that the sexual activity took place and it was after it occurred that she told him he's 14. And as you explained, Bob, strict liability, so doesn't matter when it was said. But, you know, I have a hard time thinking this guy wasn't thinking, you know, a 14, it'd be different if he maybe 17, looks questionable, even 16. But Claudia King, what do you think about that when you hear that's how old this child was when this sexual activity is said to have occurred?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely crazy. But the thing is, when you look at kids these days, they look a lot older than they are. And that's really scary because you have these younger kids or teenagers who want to be adults and they pretend to be adults. And I'm not saying that's an excuse for the guy. What he did was absolutely wrong. And these gaming platforms are a great place that predators can find these kids. And that's another problem. There's so many places that people can get to your kids. And it's really scary when you look at all these ways that they can get into your home.
You're so right, Claudia. This child's lucky to be alive. I'm sure her parents are thanking their lucky stars she was found alive. At least this defendant had the decency to leave her with food and water. But horrible being left in the woods in a tent. You know, it's cold outside. Manuel, kind of dovetailing off of the point Claudia made, an excellent one. All the places that these predators can go after kids. Would you speak to that, please? This online video gaming platform is where he connected with her.
Well, see, that's the problem. Right now, the majority, I would dare say at least maybe 30% of the children go missing a year are from online predators, like my colleague said. And parents need to take action. And there are precautionary measures that you can take that I recommend to many of my clients. And that's, you got to upload like a spyware on the kid's computer and on their cell phone. It will tell you who they're talking to, where they're at, what the conversations are, and let you hear it. And most of these spywares you can buy online. For example, one called M-Spy, and it only costs 90 cents a day. 90 cents to protect the life of your child.
Wow.
Okay, and we need to do this. We need to do something like that now to protect our kids, because these predators are out there looking 24 hours a day.
Yes, exactly, Manuel.